Game crashed again.
Goddamn right here.
Sorry to let you down, but I'm afraid I'm not in the mood.
Actually,
I'm...
why are you so worried about her?
well,
Come on, Doctor.
let's just... The last place Professor Skara said she was going is the... I'll mark it on your mapping device. Look,
Dr. Duff.
I really prefer to be alone right now. Sorry.
Up off the floor and slammed me into numerous things and was pulling me backward like a rag doll.
You're going to see some vehicles going into the air. Transport trailers and truck combination. Now these units weigh probably 22,000 pounds empty. These were sucked up and in the tornado and were going around and around.
Stubblefield and Goswell are among the few to ever film a tornado snatching up 3-ton trucks. This is a massively powerful twister, one that has Belinda Waldron trapped in its ferocious grip.
When I was in it, everything's dark and I just tried to keep my eyes closed to protect my eyes. I kept talking to myself thinking, well, this is it.
And at that time, I just had a feeling of helplessness because there's nothing you can do. I mean, there's no way you can stop it, or make it go another direction or anything like that. And it was just a sick feeling.
That dropped me out here into the parking lot and just dropped me on my back, and I could see the cloud and the tornado. It looked like a white ghost just going up and taking off.
I swear, if it lags me out again, I'm gonna be so pissed.
Belinda's encounter with the tornado is over, but Randy's is just beginning.
But when I realized he was going to go into the city of Tampa,
Stubblefield jumps back into his car and races down the road, directly into the path of the tornado.
one of my deputies gets on the air and says, watch out, you're too close. You know you're too close when debris starts coming into the car with you. I had my windows down and the trash from the circulation was coming into the car with me.
It's going into the city at this time.
It was headed right straight for the sheriff's office in the downtown section. Well, I had, at that time, about 65 prisoners in jail. And, we had a big, strong building, but this big, strong tornado.
The twister strikes Tampa, destroying. Most buildings in the industrial park are ripped off their foundations. Belinda is badly.
Of course, I was just stunned and numb. I really couldn't feel anything. I felt like my legs were couldn't get my bearings because there was no building, there were no landmarks that I recognized at all, and I was just taken back.
Fearing the worst, Belinda desperately searches for her father.
He was draped over a motor. He looked dead, honestly. He was limp and he wasn't moving. I managed to scoot over close to him and started grabbing him. He woke up and turned his head, and there was blood, and you could just see this white eyeball. You could just terrified look, and I'll always remember that, just stark. And he immediately said, help me up, and I can't help you up, I can't.
Third time I've had to do this. Probably gonna lag out.
Emergency workers rush Belinda and her dad to the hospital. Both are in serious condition. 5 other residents also suffer injuries. Miraculously, there are no deaths.
Without a license Whereas in Florida, no open carrying is allowed, except...
And are we gonna get it? Are we gonna get it? Are we gonna get it? Yes, it's about here I cut out. I was saying that I was talking about how I like lagged out and I game crashed, and my coworker told me, "Oh, do you have mods installed?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, he's like, "Yep, that's probably it." What are you playing on? I'm like, "Yeah, PS5." He's like, "Yeah, that's also probably the issue." Institute bastards. I love blowing up cars. It's so fun.
Looks like a good landing spot. I'll have you on the ground shortly.
Sorry, man. You're so screwed.
Hey. See if she had anything.
and study Stubblefield and Doswell's remarkable footage.
Anything useful?
They're tumbled
Check
a
it
2
out.
or 3 ton pickup truck
See if
along
there's
the
any-
ground and hoisted into the air. This takes
Think
incredible
anything
wind
good?
speed, probably in excess of 150 miles per hour.
Grab that.
Dave Llewellyn
Get
researches the strange and
Pick that
complex
up.
forces at
Take
work
that.
inside
See if
tornadoes.
she had anything.
In a tornado, the wind is not just swirling around. It's actually spiraling strongly inwards.
Llewellyn believes that once an object like a vehicle is airborne, it can be slammed to the ground by powerful center downdraft winds, then hurled back skywards by updraft winds. This brutal cycle renders the debris unrecognizable before it's finally
That's how stuff becomes unrecognizable.
Amazing.
All employees, report suspicious behavior to the director immediately.
Who the hell is this guy?
All employees, report suspicious behavior to the director immediately. Any deviation from standard operating procedures must be authorized by the director. All right, maggot. Step forward. Slowly. Do I look like I have time for idle chit-chat? Do I look like I have time for idle chit-chat? Hold it right there. I've been monitoring your approach. Impressive. Very impressive. What a low-life criminal! I'm reporting in, as ordered. Reporting in? Wait, the grand reopening? Are you Grand Reopening Supervisor 18 Alpha? You're late.
Yes, that's right.
Annual authorization of the grand reopening requires authentication.
Oh shit.
Need to see your ID. Sir,
Here.
scanning. Deception.
Oh shit. War's breaking out. If you guys want it that way, so be it. That's some Holy shit.
That was 4,600 pounds, according to the crane.
Scott Schiff and his team at Clemson University are studying the damage a tornado-hurled car can do.
We're really testing this roof slab here, and this was designed to be a shelter. It's about 10 inches thick of solid concrete with a double mat of steel reinforcement, so it's heavily reinforced. It's really designed to be able to take large debris impacts.
3, 2, 1, drop!
After multiple impacts, the slab begins to crumble.
So after that last impact, we now have a permanent deformation in the slab. that rebar that's down under that bottom mat there started to yield under the load, and we started to see some more concrete falling down below there.
To counter multiple impacts, Schiff is designing a steel mesh net to catch loose debris. If that works, it will be a huge step forward in tornado protection.
We have this F5 tornado. What we're looking for is that we are safe during the event and right after the event.
Despite the Pampa tornado's unpredictable movements and incredible power, no lives were taken. 608 kilometers away, another Texas town isn't so fortunate when a massive F5 twister turns tiny bits of dirt and wood into lethal
Gerald?
And later, a mega tornado, one that scientists believe could destroy a major American city. The powerful F4 Pampa tornado tossed trucks, destroyed buildings, and threatened the lives of hundreds. But just one notch up the Fujita scale, an F5 twister turns into a killer. Its weapons, specks of dirt and splinters of wood.
Celebrate love.
With 1-800-Flowers.com.
We were 11 years old when we met.
Well, my name's Professor. And in answer to what I expect to be your next question, Professor, the whole thing's rather complicated. So now that I've formally introduced myself, perhaps you'd care to tell me why you're here.
Did you know Dr. Duff was looking for you? She's very worried.
Oh, not this again. Time after time, I've asked Dr. Duff to join me on these trips, but she insists on staying behind in case anyone requires a biology lesson. Then, when I return after being gone for more than a few days, she scolds me as if I'm a child. I swear, that woman acts as though we're married. Obviously, you're not here to bring me a message from Dr. Duff, so why don't you tell me?
I've been sent by the Brotherhood of Steel to ask for your help.
How very interesting. I wasn't aware that you people ever asked for anything. While I'm flattered that the Brotherhood of Steel would find me useful, I can't help it. Perhaps if you were more specific.
We need your expertise in Liberty Prime back home.
Liberty Prime? Oh, yes. I believe it. Intriguing as it sounds. I'm afraid my work at General Atomics isn't. Perhaps you could come back another...
Maybe this'll change your mind.
Intriguing. So, your technicians must use these to calibrate Liberty Primes, and it's quite an ingenious little device. I'll wrap up my collecting trip and meet you at... Now, if you'll excuse me, I still have a...
Just $5,000 a game.
Holy shit, no!
$5,000? That's ridiculous.
Poverty is never something to feel ashamed of.
Damn.
Change your mind.
Do you take cabs?
Bottle caps? Of course not. Legal tender only.
Do you mind if I just take a look around?
Oh, all right. Enjoy your day at the Galleria. Welcome to Back Alley Bowling.
Gerald, Texas.
Gerald, Texas was founded in 1909. Located 64
when the wheat penny was
kilometers
made.
north of Austin, the town never fully recovered from the decline of the cotton industry in the 1920s and 30s. In 1997, a tornado threatened to wipe Gerald off the map.
Baby Rope turned into a monster wedge.
From the beginning, the Gerald tornado smacks of something strange. On May 27th, a supercell forms over central Texas.
The Gerald tornado is memorable for a couple of things. One was it formed in conditions that at the time we thought were very unusual.
The massive supercell lacks strong vertical wind shear, an essential ingredient in typical tornado formation. Meteorologist Bill Gallus teaches tornado forecasting utilizing a virtual reality tornado simulator.
To get a tornado in nature, you need to have really two things. You need a very strong updraft or updraft and downdraft to help stretch the air in the vertical. And you also need to have some source of spin present.
A strong wind shear usually provides a tornado with its source of spin. Before Gerald, the conventional wisdom was that without strong wind shear, you don't get violent tornadoes. But the unusual atmospheric conditions over central Texas are about to prove the conventional wisdom wrong. Dead wrong. Here, the warm, moist air rises so forcefully, it generates a super strong updraft, creating a very powerful and dangerous tornado. As the skies blacken and the winds rage, LaDonna Peterson and her 8-year-old son leave their mobile home for the safety of their mother-in-law's brick house.
I went outside and started watching the clouds outside because they were getting real thick, real dark, real heavy. And all of a sudden, I could hear in the distance, because the wind had picked up, the alarm going off in town.
Can you see me now?
Ken Adams doesn't hear the town alarm. He's asleep.
And the dog woke me up. And I could tell that dog was really scared. I knew something was wrong, but I don't hear well, but I could feel it. It was like the thunder that you couldn't hear, you know, but you could feel it.
LaDonna's sister-in-law and young daughter join her in their mother-in-law's home. News reports place a tornado 3 kilometers away.
My sister-in-law and I went to a window, and we could actually see the tornado in the distance, but it was like it was just sitting there, just turning, not moving at all.
In fact, the tornado isn't standing still. Its forward movement is timed at a slow pace of 16 kilometers per hour. But its internal wind speeds are reaching more than 420 kilometers per hour. Now a killer F5, it descends on the women's refuge.
Then all of a sudden we felt a gust of wind hit the house. We could actually see the asphalt being pulled up off of the street, up the road from us. We were sitting there and I said, God, please don't take my family. Then we felt a big gust of wind hit the house and the bathroom door flew open. And at that point we started feeling like mud and stuff started coming in, hay.
Minutes later, when Ken Adams walks outside to see why his dog is barking, he comes face to face with a nightmare.
It was so big at the base, probably a half a mile or 3/4 of a mile, that I didn't realize it was a tornado. And by the time that I did realize it, it was too late to go anywhere. I ran to the house, opened the back door, and as I did, the door flew out of my hand, and the roof of the house came off. I would sort of be picked up. The house would fall on me again.
Suddenly, the tornado is gone.
The whole country looked like it was in a nuclear blast of some type. When I first looked up, I thought I was dead. I mean, I really did.
Ken is wrenched back to reality when he's forced to take in the horror that surrounds him. More than 300 head of cattle were killed or injured by the tornado. Many that survived had to be shot because of the extent of their injuries.
Oh, it's terrible. There's about 300 acres over there, and most of it, you couldn't walk very far without smelling that old dead smell.
LaDonna's family emerges from the rubble of their home and into a wasteland. Nearly every home in their subdivision.
Whoa, look at that. Shit has changed around here. Yeah, get back, aspirant. Get the frick back. Yeah, keep walking backward. Yeah.
Ingram?
Well, things are off to a good start. Isn't that right, Professor? You call this a good start? This poor thing's memory core was completely corrupted. Haven't you people ever heard of inertial dampeners? Titanium shock casing? It won't be easy, but I should be able to make a few modifications and get his basic functions online. If you can keep your inept scribes from slowing you down. Charming, isn't she?
Sorry about that, Ingram.
Don't worry about it. We might be butting heads on a few issues, but I've dealt. Besides, Scar.
She's got a little toolbox.
I've never seen someone so proficient with Prime's power systems. She's already saved us weeks, maybe months of work. In fact, we're ready for you to start building his electromagnetic actuators.
What do the actuators do?
Pretty
Oh yeah,
simple.
right, moving some arms.
The actuators are what allows Liberty Prime's arms and legs to move. Prime's new limbs are way too heavy for the simple hydraulic pistons he had in the past. We're gonna have to rip those out, construct a brand new system using electromagnets, and install them in his limbs. What we need you to do is build the action.
All right, Ingram. Enough with the school lessons. Here's a list of materials you'll need.
Now, before you get that look on your face, you'll be happy to know that we have plenty of the raw materials on that list right here. The only thing we need you to head out and find is a high... According to Proctor Quinlan, the best place to find one is in any of the ruined hospitals. We've already sent out a few teams to find the rest of the high-powered magnets you'll need. They should be back.
Once you start building the actuators, we need one. Good luck.
Oh, I hope I didn't scrap one.
Others are badly injured.
Mrs. LaFrance was pinned under a tree, and her daughter was laying in the mud and had some really severe injuries to her legs and her arms. It was raining, and she was saying it was hurting her, hitting the open wounds, so the only thing I could find was a dirty blanket laying on the ground to cover her up with, just to keep the rain from hitting the wounds so bad. Later, we found out that Mr. LaFrance had been killed in the tornado, and the daughter had been crying through the whole thing, wanting to know where her dad was.
27 people died that day. Half were children. Entire families killed. As scientists studied the Gerald tornado, several intriguing facts came to light.
The thing that the tornado itself was interesting for was that it was moving very, very slowly. It was large, and it collected a lot of debris to where the high wind speeds associated with the tornado were...
Problem is, it stayed in one spot for more than like 2 minutes.
For a few seconds.
It doesn't take much.
Hey, SPC, US sister donates to those. I love how they help animals. What a good organization.
16 kilometers per hour, significantly slower than the average 48 kilometer per hour twister. Another oddity was that most houses in the tornado's path were completely obliterated. After much study, experts found an answer. Physicist Dave Llewellyn's computer models illustrate their findings.
You can actually have thousands of tons of dirt in that debris cloud at any given time. And that dirt can change the internal structure of the tornado.
As the Gerald tornado passed over the open Texas plain, it picked up massive amounts of dirt, slowing down the funnel's forward movement while increasing its destructive power.
I think down low that Gerald tornado probably acted like a giant sandblaster.
Llewellyn and others believe that instead of blowing apart homes with strong winds like some tornadoes, the Gerald twister destroyed structures via the massive force of wind-blown debris. The Gerald tornado was as ironic as it was tragic. Experts advise never to try and outrun a twister, but some who died in Gerald could have escaped the slow-moving storm in cars. Experts advise potential victims without storm shelters to hide in interior rooms like closets or bathrooms.
These guys did just that, but still died.
Exactly that, and died anyway when their entire home was swept away.
They did the right thing.
Still,
unfortunately,
twisters are ever the
that's
same. Experts
more than that.
Shelter or safe room built to specific codes. The Gerald tornado changed
that horizontal noodle.
For twisters. They now view storm systems with low vertical wind shear as possible violent tornado producers. No amount of vigilance or insight could stop the deadliest tornado in US history from killing hundreds. And later, a mega-tornado unseen in modern times threatens millions. The Gerald Twister killed 27 people while changing the way experts keep vigil for potential tornado-producing storms. But there was no way to prepare for the deadliest tornado in US history, a brutal F5 that tore through 3 states.
Tri-state.
On March 18, 1925, a single tornado slaughtered 695 people in Missouri,
Tri-state.
Illinois, and Indiana. The behemoth F5 blasted a 322-kilometer path of unstoppable annihilation that lasted for hours. Survivor accounts are chilling.
The air was filled with 10,000 things. Boards, poles, whole sides of little framed houses. In some cases, the houses themselves were picked up and smashed to the earth. And living beings too. A baby was blown from its mother's arms. Children all around me were cut and bleeding. They cried and screamed. It was something awful.
The destruction was of mythic proportions, primarily because the killer struck an extremely vulnerable population.
There was
People
a
had very few ideas about how to deal with tornadoes. The country was largely rural instead of mostly metropolitan. And they had essentially no way to communicate with each other. The town of Murfreesboro, where more than 100 people were killed, actually was hit more than 2 hours after the first fatalities from the tornado. And people wondered why hadn't any word gotten downstream, down the telephone lines or telegraph lines that something was coming.
In 1925, several million people lived in small rural towns throughout Tornado Alley. Today, tens of millions call it home. Modern communication means better warnings, but evacuating a major city before an F5 strikes is still impossible. On May 3, 1999, the people of Oklahoma City faced the worst F5 in modern history.
The May 3rd, 1999 tornado that went through Moore in southern Oklahoma City was one of the most damaging in the history of the United States, no matter how we look at the data.
Late in the afternoon of May 3rd, 1999, weather forecasters in Oklahoma carefully track multiple supercell storms and then the tornado reports that begin flooding in. With her 8-year-old son, Dana Grimm watches the local news.
We had been watching the coverage for hours. He said it just kept building momentum, getting bigger and bigger, and if you were above ground, you weren't going to make it.
The storm system is intense, complicated, and growing. Weather trackers watch in awe and shock as multiple storms produce multiple tornadoes.
Large tornado, very large tornado.
It seemed like just about every thunderstorm cloud that formed eventually produced a tornado at some point.
And there were times when you had the main tornado happening, and then we had what we call satellite tornadoes that would rotate around it. They're completely separate tornadoes within the same storm system.
I have here in my possession a brand new and improved MyFac first aid kit. Let's walk.
I should build anywhere in the Commonwealth. I'd make this a bridge.
At about 6:25 p.m., a large tornado touches down just outside Amber, Oklahoma. Doppler radar records its wind speed at 512 kilometers per hour, the fastest twister ever documented. This is a monster, and it's hurtling towards Dana Grimm's home.
And they had said that it was a mile wide and just ferocious. And it was just destroying everything in its path.
With the giant wall of howling wind just 1.6 kilometers away, Dana and her son hide in the closet.
I remember my son, he was screaming and crying. He said, "Are we going to be okay?" I said, "We're going to be fine." He said, "What do we do?" And I said, "We pray."
Dana's fear turns to panic when she hears the tornado strike.
kind of a high-pitched squeal to it. And then, of course, the sound of everything, the windows just blowing out. The house was shaking. We could hear the beams in the roof breaking. The walls just lifted up, and we could feel really cold air rushing underneath.
That's inflow.
Within seconds of that, the house was moving up. I couldn't breathe. I was in so much dirt that I couldn't even breathe anymore. I thought, this is it. And I remember just praying that, God, if this is it, I'm ready.
On the brink of death, the fierce tornado spares Ed's life by lifting her up in the suffocating dirt. When it slams her back to the ground, she's paralyzed with fear.
And I realized then that I didn't have my son. So I started screaming for him, and he came running over, and it was really, it was just a miracle of God because we were both barefoot.
Oh my goodness, where is my remote?
Had one puncture wound on his feet.
The F5 continues to the center of Oklahoma City, crossing major highways filled with rush hour traffic. As the tornado hurtles towards them, some people panic. They abandon their cars in a desperate attempt to find shelter. For a few, that decision has fatal consequences. 3 people seeking refuge under freeway overpasses are killed by debris and the sheer force of the wind. Stranded cars block escape routes for many others.
Shield Boulevard in Oklahoma City essentially became a huge
Right
parking
there.
lot, and it blocked people from being able to escape the tornado.
By the time the F5 dissipates, 40 people are dead and nearly 700 injured.
Hey, over here.
My wife worked
Grab anything
in the hospital in Norman that night, and she worked in the emergency room. They were swamped, of course. She saw some really horrific injuries. People came in covered with splinters of wood. Awful things.
Many survivors suffer multiple painful wounds from being impaled by debris. Cheryl Brown studied the injuries and deaths in Oklahoma.
There were also injuries that were related to debris being embedded inside the body.
Holy
all
shit.
the way from small splinters to very large objects such as 2x4s.
Many survivors suffered debris-related injuries because the tornado destroyed so many homes, spewing countless shards
Dude, that's fans, nice.
material into the air. The Oklahoma twister leveled nearly 3,000 houses and structures.
And a typewriter. Lots of screws here.
3, 2, 1, fight!
73 miles an hour.
Schiff and his team at Clemson University fired 2x4s at more than 160 kilometers per hour.
That sounds so fun.
Structures to represent the damage done during a tornado.
I think that the public understands that tornadoes are very dangerous. What they don't understand is that in typical construction, they have very little protection against those types of events.
When debris strikes a home, it does far more damage than simply making a hole in a wall or window.
Fire!
It gives the tornado a point of entry. Once inside, inflowing air can rip apart walls and tear off the roof. The home then becomes part of the tornado's arsenal, further fueling the funnel with debris and making it even more destructive.
This type of construction is very typical for residential, brick veneer in front of a wood frame wall.
Fire!
The missile's gone all the way through the wall cavity.
Damn.
Most people that have this type of house would be vulnerable to an F5 tornado.
Fire!
Schiff's experiments determined that for a home to withstand the deadly onslaught of debris, the brick veneer must have an 8 centimeter thick backing of concrete.
So this wall here would be suitable for a shelter to resist tornadoes.
Good to know.
Most homes in Oklahoma City were brick veneer with wood frames. This common construction, coupled with the sheer number of homes in the tornado's path, increased the debris field exponentially. Dana Grimm survived with a broken back, her son with a puncture wound to his chest.
I truly believe that the reason that I was thrown twice, if I had not been picked back up and thrown again, I would have suffocated because I could not breathe anymore.
10 supercell storms formed 70 tornadoes that spring day. including the F5 that cut a 24-kilometer path over interstate highways and devastated several suburbs of Oklahoma City.
It was sad. I think there were 14 in our own housing edition that died. And it's a miracle of God that we didn't.
The Oklahoma tornado caused more than $1 billion in damage, the costliest
What's that?
tornado in U.S. history.
Complete and total devastation. The
Med
homes
tech.
that you see over here now were completely gone. It was a rubble pile. If you had been in the open, it would not have been a very pleasant place to be.
Things would have been much
That's
worse
a
if
big
it had been
bastard.
just 16 kilometers to the west.
That is a
striking
giant
downtown
tornado.
Oklahoma
Watch this
City.
tornado video first.
Even so, the Moore Oklahoma tornado and its companion twisters rank as the most deadly and destructive outbreak in modern history. They would be far surpassed by an F5.
This place is crawling with ferals.
That would be a mega disaster, one experts warn could happen.
Remember, we are looking for a high-powered magnet.
Every year, major U.S. cities in Tornado Alley play a game of Russian roulette with massive twisters that wreak havoc there.
Technical document.
In 1999, Oklahoma City lost the game when a giant tornado killed 40 people, injured nearly 700, and racked up costs of more than $1 billion.
Oh, tasty.
Only sheer luck kept the tornado from striking downtown. Researcher Scott Ray knows the next major city to be struck by an F5 may not be so fortunate.
Dallas is overdue for a large violent class tornado.
Dallas, Texas is a boomtown sprawled along the southern boundary of Tornado Alley. It's one of the largest and fastest growing metro areas in the U.S. with more than 5 million residents and 600 corporate headquarters. Dallas is 10 times larger than Oklahoma City.
I was shocked a bit when I saw some of the aerial footage of Oklahoma City. The amount of damage that had occurred in that was pretty amazing.
Ray assists local governments with planning for hazards, especially threats from tornadoes. To help Dallas prepare for a possible mega disaster, he has modeled over 60 different scenarios of how the Dallas region would be affected by a violent tornado.
For reasons of credibility, it was very
This guy's on a
important that we looked
mission.
at an event that actually had occurred somewhere else. So we took the event in Oklahoma City basically because the data was very good for that particular event, and we could transpose it by just moving those same geographical characteristics of the tornado on top of the geography of Dallas-Fort Worth. So we got to see it kind of from our own perspective.
Ray and his team painstakingly overlaid the exact path taken by the Oklahoma tornadoes over the Dallas-Fort Worth area. A mega disaster unfolds when Oklahoma's F5 tornado rampages through downtown Dallas.
It would easily be the worst damaging tornado event that we have had to date in the U.S.
Well, no kidding. Dallas is a pretty big city. Plus, not only that, west to it is Fort Worth, which should probably get the first of the damage. And that area prints half of our money, or should I say 2/3 of the money you use.
Ray's nightmare scenario begins as a supercell storm forms over north-central Texas. A 160-kilometer-per-hour tornado, an F3, touches down in a dusty field 10 miles southwest of Dallas. Its first target is the suburb of Poplar Hill. Having winds in excess of 320 kilometers per hour, cars are tossed aside, buildings are decimated. The tornado continues.
Are you kidding me?
Unrelenting in its assault on thousands of homes. The twister's internal wind speed rolls past 400 kilometers per hour, turning it into an F5. Fueled by tons of debris, the giant tornado slows and it descends on the busy freeway.
A clogged highway holds
Effing smoked.
more people than one that is moving comfortably. And the other problem that you have is where do you go?
Panic ensues as many abandon their cars, creating a traffic jam that traps thousands.
Oh shit, we're smoking these dudes.
Kilometer-per-hour winds effortlessly swat cars off the highway.
Crickle Bank are starting to become nice.
Mars is vulnerable to flying debris and violent winds. Cars snatched up by the powerful updraft winds are spun around inside the flying vortex, then shot out, creating a dangerous hazard for anyone in their path. Next, the deadly twister approaches downtown Dallas. Dozens of skyscrapers and tens of thousands of people crowd the city. Giant glass windows shatter, marble and bricks are ripped off buildings. A deadly shower of glass and other debris rains down onto the crowd below.
Most of the skyscrapers in the Dallas-Fort Worth area are predominantly covered with glass on the outside, and that's not very durable. But the amount of damage from getting wind and broken glass spread out through a downtown area is going to be pretty dramatic.
A packed commuter train sneaks through the city. It swept up the tracks and slammed into a skyscraper, killing hundreds of the train and office buildings.
There's little doubt that debris would be probably the largest generator of damage in the Metroplex, and it's basically because there's so much of it that can be generated, and you name it, it could be wood, bricks, gravel, just about anything you can imagine can become a projectile, and with almost unlimited supply.
The tornado continues north, leaving the wreckage of downtown Dallas behind. Tornadic winds more than 500 kilometers per hour now descend on the suburban landscape of Lakewood. The 92,000 people living here have had up to 20 minutes to seek underground shelter. A seemingly reasonable chance for survival. But like the Gerald, Texas twister, those hiding in closets or bathrooms can only pray. Finally, the worst tornado in history slowly drifts skyward and dissipates. The war zone behind it is 61 kilometers long. Dallas is devastated.
Imagine that actually happened.
I don't think there's any way to really sugarcoat an event. It's going to be difficult to deal with regardless. There's going to be a lot of damage. There are going to be a lot of people that need help.
Total damages approach $5 billion. Tens of thousands are homeless and scores injured. The death toll is unknown.
Fatalities are difficult to really quantize because they involve people making decisions. And there are good decisions that can be made, bad decisions. We don't know what decision they're going to make.
The best decision city planners can make is to prepare with multiple underground shelters, rehearsed evacuation plans, and a vigilant public. But even that won't likely be enough.
I think it would pretty much be impossible financially to build a city that could really survive violent class tornadoes or any scenario like that.
With increasing populations in major metropolitan cities throughout Tornado Alley, science is in a life or death race against time to understand one of Mother Nature's biggest secrets.
In an ideal world, we'd have radar or other instrument measurements on every tornado that occurs. In the practical world that we live in, that's just not going to happen.
Okay, this storm in the next hour is going to produce this type of tornado. We're just not there yet, and it's hard to say when we'll be there. We've certainly got a ways to go.
Given the limited ability to predict tornadoes, there is a very real cause for concern.
Most people think about disasters as very random events that can happen to them. And I think that holds true with.
If you wait long enough, something resembling the worst case scenario is going to happen eventually.
Until science learns more about these brutal forces of nature, the only thing that can be done is to prepare before a mega disaster strikes.
I think I should go with the... Definitely should, yeah, I'm gonna, I know it may not be the best idea, but actually I'm gonna hit 9 luck, and I'm gonna probably miss this. Because each hit in VATS is great. Each hit in VATS is a chance of filling a critical mirror. That is good. If I could just, I could literally get max. Wait. Yeah, I can get max.
Hey, grab that.
This scientist is probably puking his guts up from all the radiation.
Get that. Broken.
Okay, does anyone else ever sometimes think that those are holotapes? the rust texture over the toilet looks like it's gonna stop there. Oh.
Look alive.
I should try to...
Pick that up. Hey. 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 Heads up. Heads up. Look alive. Look alive.
I like that whistle.
It's stuck.
Technical document? This is a folder. I didn't already find it, did I? Two can be found, Zoe. Two can be found on the shelf inside the warehouse at Boston Airport.
Hey. Head over there. Heads up. Heads up. Here. Go there. There. Oh, go. Over here. Move here. Here.
Oh, there it goes. One more shot will do.
Hey. Hold up a sec. Just checking how you're doing. Hey. That's it. Got it.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
I realized that this was going to be a historic event.
They're getting stronger.
Is there anybody else in there with you? Do you need help? Is there anybody else down here?
And they're striking places they've never been.
If you're living north of Tornado Valley, sometime in the future, tornadoes will start showing up on your doorstep.
Tornadoes are changing. The events of one tragic day will tell us why. A terrifying glimpse of the future that holds the key to saving lives. February 5th, 2008. Super Tuesday. Out across the Central Plains, a storm is brewing. This will be no ordinary storm. As cold, dry weather streams in from the Rockies, unseasonal warm air forces its way north from the Gulf. When they meet, history will be made. No one expects to see this kind of weather in winter. The first sign of trouble arrives late in the morning. Massive thunderstorms are forming in a line over Texas.
My initial thoughts were I need to get the word out. It's obvious that we are dealing with a major storm system that will produce widespread dangerous weather and that people are at risk.
And by mid-afternoon, the system is beginning to develop the most powerful storms of all. Supercells. One hour later, the situation on the ground goes critical. The start of a trail of death and destruction that sees 87 killer tornadoes drop from the skies over Mississippi, Alabama, Arkansas, Kentucky, and Tennessee. $1 billion of damage. 57 people will perish. One of the worst tornado outbreaks ever recorded. But the implications are far worse. Scientists looking at Super Tuesday see a dark future. Stronger, more destructive tornadoes striking outside the traditional tornado season. Striking in places they have rarely been seen before. Tornadoes are changing. So what exactly is happening? The answers lie in the rubble of Super Tuesday. Solving the mystery of this devastating outbreak is a matter of life and death. The investigators start with the biggest mystery of all. How does a tornado form? From here, they can work backwards and figure out what was different about the storms that gave birth to the tornadoes of Super Tuesday. What they know for sure is that tornadoes form in storms like no others. Hurricanes take days to develop, cover thousands of square miles, and follow a discernible path. They begin life in Tornado Alley, stretching from Texas through Oklahoma, right up to Iowa and Nebraska. Fast and flat, and caught in an atmospheric crossfire between north and south. The weather here has all the right ingredients for twisters, and spring is traditionally tornado season. As winter turns to spring, polar air from the Rockies spills across the plains. It sets off on a collision course with warm, moist air heading north from the Gulf of Mexico. The stage is set. Warm air is light and wants to rise. Cool air is heavy and wants to sink. When the two air masses collide, they begin to spin. Tornado expert Robin Talamachi has a simple way to demonstrate what happens next.
What we have right now is a very unstable arrangement. You can see we've got this very dense, heavy water up in the upper chamber, and the lower chamber is filled with air, which is much less dense than the water. And the air wants to go up into the upper chamber, the water wants to come down.
Scale this instability up a few thousand times, and you get vast thunderclouds called supercells, the birthplace of tornadoes. Compared to regular thunderstorms, they can span 20 miles across and tower twice the height of Mount Everest. Supercells are the most ferocious of all thunderstorms. But the energy in the storm needs an outlet. The cold air wants to sink, and the warm air wants to rise. In order to restore the balance and release the energy, another ingredient needs to be introduced.
Lift.
You can see some of the air bubbles are kind of traveling up into the upper chamber, but this is a pretty inefficient way to restore the balance to this unbalanced system. And so what I'm going to do is impart a little bit of vorticity to the system by slushing around a bit. So now it spins. And now we have a vortex that's formed in the middle, so that now the air is flowing upwards to the center of that vortex into the upper chamber, and the water is flowing downwards into the lower chamber. So that this is a much more efficient way for the system to go back into balance.
The imbalance allows the warm and cold air to mix by spinning them together. It's the fastest way for the heavy air to sink down. This spinning is known as wind shear. This is the second vital ingredient for tornadoes.
So relatively weak winds at the surface, topped by stronger winds aloft, create this roll, and that is shear.
So they know how supercells are created. But why a supercell creates a twister is the last great weather mystery. It seems clues may lie in the spinning motion itself.
Many researchers who've studied them have sometimes called them accidents of nature because it seems so elusive to figure out what actually went together to cause the tornado occur. We know how to get a lot of spin in the thunderstorm, but there are definitely some more complex things going on near the ground. We can have spin taking place on small enough scales that we really aren't able to measure it.
Only one supercell in 4 gives birth to a tornado. So what makes that one so special?
We do not know yet what the mysterious missing ingredient is. We think we know what it takes to get a tornado, but there's something mysterious that we still don't understand that determines, sometimes the tornado will touch the ground, sometimes it won't.
But when it does, the results can be devastating. Once the funnel touches down, it starts feeding on an inflow of warm, moist air at ground level. This warm air is called updraft. Low pressure inside the vortex creates a vacuum. And the warm, high-pressure air around it rushes in. Once inside the funnel, warm air shoots upward, trying to restore the balance, all the time sucking in more and more warm air from the ground. The warm air is the fuel that gives it the energy to move forward. Its funnel sucks up debris as it tracks along the ground. You not only see it coming, you hear it.
There have been descriptions of tornadoes that vary from a roar like a freight train, depending on how fast the tornado is moving. If they're inside of a house, they may report that it makes a very high whistling sound, say if it's coming through cracks of windows or something like that.
Yes, a large destructive tornado. There's a large tornado moving to the south side of that.
On Super Tuesday, one of the worst tornadoes ever seen in Arkansas rips through the state, traveling a record 122 miles. Across 7 counties, it leaves 13 people dead. 100 homes in the little town of Atkins are torn apart. But what makes this tornado so unique is that it happens at the wrong time of year. Powerful tornadoes like this very rarely strike in winter, yet Super Tuesday sees 87 of them. Investigators now turn their attention from the tornadoes to the storms that made them.
I wonder how much water we're going to generate with this farm. Sadly, it won't be transferred early. We'll probably have to walk over here to go get the water. I might just install a fast travel mod on my actual survival world because it's kind of just atrocious. I can make my way there, it's just only a matter of when. I also could use the Brotherhood, like, you know, feature where they just basically fly you over there. Oh, we gotta have a lot. Hmm. Holy shit. Boom. And we have such...
Looks like it's in working order. Looks like it's in working order.
Nah. Can I tell you, it takes like an hour. The summit timer also controls when drinkable items are consumed in the workshop, and the summit at a rate of 1 per human population. Population takes place. Uh-oh. Holy shit. That is a lot of water. Dude, look at the amount of purified water. 246. Holy. Dude. That's a lot of money.
Heads up.
Let me get a nice taste of that. Oh, that tastes so good.
Heads up.
That feels like we're just straight up hacking. I feel like I'm cheating. We need to go defend our farm. Up, up, and away.
Glad to have you aboard. We'll be taking off in a moment. Your minigun should be loaded and ready to fire. Good shooting, sir.
One of these days I have to do some save quits and just start running, ripping through every one of these areas. Land.
Prepare for landing. Touchdown could be a little rough.
Oh, I don't think so. Wanna mess with my helmet, bitches? Where are you?
Look alive. Head over there. See if she had anything. Take that.
join the Minutemen and help defend the Commonwealth.
Listen, it's brave of you to say so. It's good that you want to help. Besides, your mother would never forgive you.
I'm starting to think we're finally safe from those damn raiders.
I just want to trade a few things.
Go ahead.
Good area for farming. Okay, as an anti-Brotherhood person, it has to be fun using a combat shotgun with explosive to take something out of the sky. Oh my gosh, I'm so dumb. I just realized something. I could technically use the vertibird to fly to Spectacle Island.
All systems go. We're clear for takeoff.
Initiate?
Weapons hot and ready to bring the pain, sir.
Just starts Gatling on my own town. Yeah, I need to go BOS Minutemen. The Minutemen is so good. There's my little shelter. Yay, Vertibird buddy, hello. Holy shit, we're getting popped at. Don't run into us. Or just run into us. I mean, hey, the fast travel's kind of expensive, but who cares? It costs cash, but who cares when you're in a Vertibird with a minigun?
Looks like a good landing spot. I'll have you on the ground shortly.
These are so fun. I like Vertibird rides. Oh, why have I been missing on? Oh, I regret not going on Vertibird rides more often.
If you run into any sense, shoot to kill. We don't take prisoners.
I think this is like the Minton Castle. If that is, look at that. It's like a perfect triangle. Almost. Oh wait, never mind. I thought that was gonna be.
Can you make sense of replacing humans with exact duplicates? Makes me sick. Maxim might appear compassionate, but I can assure you, the Institute can face his wrath.
If it looks dead, put one more in its head for good measure. Why take a chance?
Should be found on the shelf inside the warehouse at Boston Airport.
Carry food with you or remember these questionable things to stay.
Dance? Hey, it is Dance. Hello.
Soldier. Why are you bothering with that job?
Cricket.
Hi, I'm Meg.
Hi.
I'm just here between jobs.
Oh.
Nice.
Haven't seen you before. If you need it. Yes.
Well, if it ain't May, castellating flesh. What's why you'll be on
I'm just here between jobs.
Look alive.
Load a little heavy there? I'll buy anything.
I'll take a look, sure.
You got the caps?
Hopefully we're lucky. No, we're not. How much money does this make? Per thing? 7 caps? Holy, we can buy a lot of stuff with this.
out.
Well, hello.
Hi, I'm Meg. You new to the hill? For 10 caps, I can give you the tour. Nobody.
Any chance?
What? You...
Not interested. Bye.
You better let me have a look at you. Not many doctors out there.
Patch me up, Doc.
Now.
Just hurt all over.
Oh my gosh, there's a doctor here. We could get her.
Now, was there anything else bothering you?
Sure. No, we're done.
Take back.
That poor little Mr. Handy. He wanted to talk to me.
Welcome aboard, Knight. Stand by for takeoff.
Copy. Take me over to requested destination.
Locked and loaded. Good hunting.
There's that bank building, I think. No, actually I don't think it is. Maybe it is, just a different angle. So yeah, we killed Spawn already. Yeah, usually I mean, most of the Boston area is contained within this highway. Once you go south of it, like, look how, look at this, there's just almost like nothing.
Stand by for landing.
Wait a second.
Stand still and we shall be.
Gosh. Holy shit. Must have been a morgue. It's like a kid's room. I don't have many children here before the Great War.
Got it.
Must be where I've entered in from.
Unidentified intruder detected. Beginning search.
A lot of elevators in this place, I'll tell you one. That one right there. Target. I love overpowering things. Oh, shit. I love this sound. Holy shit, there's one right here too. Oh, I have to do this. I'm gonna lose my dignity when I do it now. I am stunning. I am just so, I'm fresh. That would get you arrested in the 50s. Oh, that would also get you arrested in the 50s. I'm not kidding, they would literally, back then, cross wrestling was a crime. I shoot the shotgun once, I lose a lot of health. Okay, let's blow this joint. Get out of my way, get out of my way. Yeet! I like how the sound takes a little bit to get to you. That's so realistic.
Prepare for landing. Touchdown could be a little rough. Hey.
I would gladly die if it meant one of my brothers would live.
That sucks because you'd have to confront Dance of being a sin, and the fact that he says that it just proves his loyalty to the Brotherhood.
We'll stop the Institute for Max and Hank.
That's the most perfect wall, I think, or one of the most perfect walls I've ever made.
Excuse me, Proctor Ingram.
That's all 4 actuators. Delivered and done. Nice work.
Thank goodness. I've finished restoring Prime's power.
Well, as soon as my scribes get those actuators, which brings me to you. It won't be long before Prime can walk and talk. Without them, his op...
Shouldn't be a problem.
I wish Prime's bomb packets fit the Commonwealth, but since we arrived...
Liberty Prime will be effective when we get...
She's right.
Of course. Proctor Quinlan, we're catch.
I'll head out there immediately.
Good. Where are you going? We're almost done with Prime. Put those bombs in.
Proctor Ingram?
Get out there Liberty and Prime's weapons efficiency.
Oh man, I'm late for muster tonight.
Speaking of this, I need to... So I'll be signing off now. Bye, guys.